Hey guys, we're going to be doing a bit of a different video today. I got a request from one of the commentators to do a utilities kind of thing, and I'm like, hey, why not just turn it into a video? And in fact, I'm going to be doing a couple of these for the various classes I know. But we're going to go ahead and start with the Deception Assassin today. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to run through the utils I take for regs first, and then I'm going to tell you about what I would change if I was going into ranked. The timestamps for like the updated changes will be in the description if you always want to just skip over to what the normal stuff is that I take and then the changes for ranked without me explaining every little thing. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, you're going to want to take Avoidance. The cooldown reduction on force speed and unbreakable will is just insanely helpful for regs. It's going to allow you to use that ability far more often, and force speed especially, and you'll see later a lot of your other things you're going to take are just going to be buffing force speed, and the jolt's a bonus. Next, this is really like a lot of preference. Some people like to take Formless Phantom for a little more damage reduction. Some people like to take Oppressing Force. I'll take Snaring Slashes usually, just because I like to do a little bit of Lacerate if I'm in big groups of enemies with lots of melees and matches. And I find that's typically like sometimes like it'll be often the case. So I'll take that. But if you're not really feeling that, then you could go Oppressive Force. Oppressive Force lowers that Electrocute cooldown and gives you a Force slow reduction cooldown. So it's a good thing to take as well. But I would take Snaring Slashes. In the Masterful category, Fade. Fade is criticals, a 45 per second reduction on the cooldown of it. Basically cuts it in half. Makes it much more usable in combat. I use it for like many things, like stealthing out and going to heal, or even sometimes if I just need one more stun on someone, I'll just fade and spike them right there. Speeding Surge is going to be important because obviously Deception Assassin is a melee class, and like high mobility is key to you getting around and keeping on your target and doing the maximum amount of damage you can. So that's going to be very helpful. In Heroic, we're going to start off with Shout of Madness. Shout of Madness, so what it does is it gives Force Shroud automatically whenever you Force Cloak. So what that's going to do is that's going to like purge incapacitating effects, it's going to purge dots, and it's basically allow you to stealth out without being revealed instantly afterwards, without having to spend your normal Force Shroud DCD, and you can just save that for something else. So I always take that, that's very useful. Immersion is another high mobility gaining utility. It's going to make you it's going to add more utility to your force speed, making it remove the movement impairing effects and granting immunity. Insulation I really only take for the armor rating increase, and that's like massively helpful to begin with. But if you're like dueling in like a corner with somebody, or if you're dueling outside of regs, then the Mind Trap 25% damage reduction is also really helpful. The only thing you want to really take in Legendary is Phasing Phantasm, and Phasing Phantasm is just amazing because it basically just gives you another DCD in the form of, once again, your force speed. So you're buffing force speed a lot here. Basically, that makes it so that force speed can be a damage reduction ability that will absorb 60% of all incoming damage, and you can use that when you're being bursted, you can use that when you're being hyper-focused, you can use that when running away. Like, the limits endless with what you can do with that. So that's what I would take with regs. There's only two changes that I would make if you're gonna go to ranked, and just for the people who just automatically skip here, I'll just go through what we were doing before. So what you're going to do in Skillful is you're going to take Avoidance, and then this is the ranked bit. You're going to take Electric Bindings. Electric Bindings is very useful for just mezzing people. Like say you're on a bridge or you're on the Mandalorian arena, you can just overload them off to the side, and Electric Bindings will keep them there for a little while longer unless they like take damage or they use their CC breaker, which is just going to be killer for them depending on what class they are. Next on Masterful, what you're going to change is you're not going to take Fade, because there's usually not enough time to use multiple Fades within regs matches, within ranked matches. I mean, maybe in a heal tank match you could probably use it multiple times, but in the end you're not even going to need that many times in a heal tank match, because you're not going to be going low enough to run away unless you're losing. What you're going to take instead is you're going to take Audacity. Audacity is very useful for doing that, just a little bit of extra damage, because it's going to give you one more charge on your Recklessness, and it's going to obviously lower the cooldown of Overload by a little bit, helping out your Electric Bindings. What that one more charge does is that one more charge will allow you to have three abilities that do 60% increased crit chance And that's going to be just a little bit of a boost to your damage. And for the heroics, for the people who weren't here for the first section, what you're going to do is you're just going to take Speeding Surge with that. You're going to take Shroud of Madness, Immersion, Insulation, and then Phasing Phantasm. If you want the explanation for why you take these, then they're in the earlier part of the video. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and have a fun time PvPing, everybody. GG's.